Good morning, good afternoon and good evening. It's Lee from Magnetic North Adventures, and today I'm going to be in the parish of Ecclesfield in Sheffield. It's a very early parish. It's now part of the city. It was once a separate village. So hope you're all well. I'm going to start at the park with the very first information board. So early industry in the area is all there. There's the information. The boards have got a bit muddy over the time. So this is the map of the old area. Sewage works, things like that. Down there. And that is the area where the supermarket is, around there. And then we've got springtime flowers starting to come up. So parkland as it is now, this is the information about it. Surveys as far back as 1637, 95 acres of common. And then the information about the park. This here is Lime Tree Avenue, and this is the information about that. And this is the area that it's talking about there. The green line is Lime Tree Avenue. This particular park, it has been used for many years. Oh look, squirrel. There we go. Squirrel. This particular park, there's been village fetes and fairs in the past. There's been a lot of scout camps, and there was also in World War II games pitches, cricket, things like that have happened on here. This is the other side of the park. You've got some retro benches there, which are 1940s, 1950s in date. Nice to see that they're still intact. But if you look around, park's actually in very nice condition. It's got a bit of graffiti on the bandstand over there, but it's not full of litter. It's really nicely well kept, and I love that about this particular park. You can come here, there's plenty of benches to sit on and enjoy the sunshine, and sit and listen to the birds and watch the wildlife. And this here, back in the day before 1960, there was lots of concerts held here, and all this grass would have been covered with people singing, dancing, just generally enjoying the environment and being near the band or concert theatrical program that was going on in the bandstand there. And that was the centre of focus of people's visits to the area. Now if you can get permission, such a place like that would be a great place for metal detecting. There'd be a lot of losses over the years, but how things are in the UK, it takes a lot of work to gain metal detector permissions, especially nowadays in public parks. They used to allow it back in the 70s and 1980s, but things have changed. So the avenue goes all the way down there. You've got the modern bins, and then this is the crossroads down to the houses and over to the town area up that way. So I'm going to go this way just to show you the other way towards the church. So in England, many years ago, there was a lot of old signposts like this one, and they tell you where you are at the top and the areas that you're going to go to, all made of cast iron, and that will date from at least the 1930s. You got some old pubs down that way, now closed down. And the main entry point to Ecclesfield Church. Now, it's said that there's been a church here for over 1500 years. Right back to the Anglo-Saxon times. And the site in the Domesday Book, which was wrote by the Normans in the 11th century, lists this site as Ecclesfield, meaning a church in a field. So we've got the old war memorial there, 1914 to 1918 and 1939 to 1945. There's lots and lots of names on there. Unfortunately, a lot of people did pay the sacrifice from this parish, killed in action or died of wounds. Now, a lot of these tombstones have been laid flat for safety reasons, because these stones are very heavy. So to stop the tombstones falling over and getting damaged, they've been laid down. There are a few that remain standing, which shows that it's still a churchyard. And down here you've got a very interesting structure. Again, you've got gravestones as the pathway. So here we've got the stocks, and this is where people were put in punishment, and rotten fruit, things like that would be thrown. 2 people in and 1 person on each post awaiting punishment. Now over here we've got a very interesting monument which I'd like to show to you. So we've got this very old monument here, and it's there. OBE winner, Order of the British Empire, 1910 to 1999. Now this is a lot earlier in construction. We've got this one here, 1883 and 1902. But this part here, 1903. And what this is there's a stand there. It would have had features around it which was taken away, and this would have had plaques on it on there as well, and you can see holes, and this is actually part of a fountain. And then we've got another one there, 1900. So that is going to be a Victorian construction. It's right in the corner of the churchyard, so it's lucky it survived. So this is the church itself. It sadly is not open at the moment, but I will show you what I can. So up here you've got the gargoyle heads just over there. You've got another entry point into the cemetery and the church itself there. And there's a very interesting stone just here, which is a coat of arms. There we go. But that's an heraldic shield. Very important monument. Beautiful door structures with the original ironwork still surviving. You have this here, and sadly it's now used as a drainage trough from that beautiful drain pipe up there. Some stained glass windows. They have had metal grills put on to stop vandals from breaking them. Now what you've actually got here, if I come around to the side, you can see it's been drilled to let water out. But what we've got there is original stone medieval coffin, and that would date to the 1400s. And it's even got the slot where the head would have been, and that would have had a stone on top of it and then put in the ground. Now, to afford something like that, you had to be very wealthy, and most people just got buried in a shroud in the ground. Now you do have to be careful when walking around, because these stones become very wet and slippery, and I have been known to fall myself in this very graveyard. So this is an older part. It's starting to get maintenance on it again, so hopefully that'll be regenerated at some point soon. You've got an old one there which would have had a chain around it at some point. So you've got a very nice grave here. Joshua Denton of the Hag, May 26, 1838, age 46. And also his brother William, who died 1862, age 80 years. Absolutely beautiful. There's a monument there. And then you've got an old blocked up doorway there. The church at the back. The cross. So you've got the boundary there to the churchyard, and then just to the side you've actually got this grave on the outside. There's the church there, this is on the outside, and I can't actually read it, it's in Latin. This one here, this has got all these beautiful yellow daffodils in. There we go. And these ones at the side of the church, these have got all the local heather around them, daffodils, some roses. It looks really nice. And there's the church again from the side angle. Now over here we've got some very old buildings, and that one at the end is the remains of part of a priory, a medieval priory where monks used to live. And then you've got the different style crosses just there. Got a very unusual gravestone over here, one I've not seen before, which is this one. Well done, good and faithful servant. Unnamed, but I've never seen that before, so that's probably been uncovered from the grass. And then you've got one over there, which is a different carving again. And then here you've got the old wooden entry into the church with the cross at the back. And as you can see there, 1904, so that stood quite a long time already. You've got another memorial on the outside there. So as we walk away from that area, we've got the muddy paths going up towards the fields, and they do contain history if you know about the area. So down here, these are the back fields of the priory, and down there you've got a pond right in the distance, and that used to be Ecclesfield Working Men's Club. I don't know what's still there now. I haven't been there for a number of years, and it looks over towards Sheffield, Shire Green, that sort of area. And just behind, in the Working Men's Club, they used to hold monthly metal detector meets. I attended there a few times many years ago. But that pond, that was a fishing complex. I don't know if it's still used or not. Now that walk just goes over towards Thorpe Hesley. Behind the tree you've got a flat plateau below the fields. Now that's an area that people used to sit and shelter whilst working the land, and it's highly likely that in the past there'd have been picnics and food there, drinks, refreshments. And this here is the footpath below the field and above the bottom fields. And this is the route that all the old pack horses would have taken, bringing things up into the village and seeing just what exactly is around. And it is muddy, it is slippery, but it's such a beautiful walk. And you've got the birds and nature to listen to. Springtime, you do get bluebells in this woodland, and they are a sign that it's been used for many years as an ancient woodland. As we walk down the footpath, we can see tiny bits of stone, and then to the sides there's the remains of a stone wall which has long since been pulled down. And up here there's more remains of stone. So all this stone would have been quarried locally. There would have been people working to get this stone, digging it out of the ground and placing it to build these old walls. And these walls predated 1820, because generally the ones built after that date are still standing. So this could have been a boundary for the old parish, and then the river stream at the bottom being the natural boundary. And just here we've got a section of wall which is still upright, and then just here as well, where it's been nicely topped with coping stones. But all this debris, this is the remnants of old walls. Lots of old work gone into this area. So we've got to the top of the valley at the edge of the fields. You can see all the way around, over that way and over towards Sheffield. Now this is quite a high bit of ground, and if you notice something about the land, it's a flat plateau, and this area here locally is known as the Triangle, and it was quite an important piece of land, because during 1940 to 1942 there was a sandbag emplacement here, and that stood just here. You can see the ghost marks of where a shallow impression of a circle was, just around there, and in that there was a rangefinder and Royal Observer Corps emplacement with sandbags spotting for German aircraft coming from that direction or that direction, or over the city itself, over that way. So this is the actual spot here, and it's said that that tuft of grass and that tuft of grass, if you notice, there's a perfect entry point. So let's just go inside. So here we have 3 and ghost marks of a triangle going down here. This is also why it's called the Triangle. And once you stand in that, this now would be the entry to where the sandbag emplacement was. At the back there you've got a small protection embankment as well. That would aid from shrapnel in the area or machine gunning, and it goes across here and back down to the low lands at the bottom. So something else of note about this area, Ecclesfield, it used to make its own handmade blacksmith nails between 17 and 1800, and that was in the nailmaker's cottage on Church Street. Now Church Street also had pubs and inns, and people used to come from far and wide to stay in those places, travelling, bringing goods into the city and taking goods out of the city. Also Ecclesfield is known to have had, in World War II, 1940 to 1942, it had a heavy anti-aircraft artillery battery, and that was located on the road going up towards Chapeltown at the Ecclesfield Junior School. Now it's said that there was several 3.7-inch artillery guns on that site, and nothing of the actual site survives today. There are mounds where the guns used to stand, very, very discreetly in the playing field of the school, and it's said that there was air raid shelters as well. The school was used in World War II, and yes, it did have underground air raid shelters as well. And here you've got the remains of where a very old house used to be. It's got an apple tree there now. That was once the fireplace, and then you've got another floor up there and some old timbers at the top. That building behind me and the remains that you just seen That's the remains of what was the nailmaker's cottage. And just to show things aren't always used, you've got a blocked up door, blocked up windows. Now the reason those windows were blocked, and potentially that door, is because a tax came out called window tax many years ago. When rooms weren't used, they were sealed up, blocked off, so that rent didn't have to be paid on such rooms. Well folks, that's another tour done. As you can see, I'm on the bus now. So hope you all enjoyed that adventure. Don't forget to like, subscribe and comment. I always enjoy reading what you put about each adventure. Thanks again everyone. This is Lee from Magnetic North Adventures. Until the next time, bye for now.